Hi ladies and gentlemen, Murinuri from back here again. The video that I'm going to do today, in this video I'm going to be giving beginning magicians or magicians that are beginners that are just starting out, okay, or anyone who basically likes the content of this video, or anybody that is seeking to expand on his or her magical practices. Specifically regarding Western ceremonial magic, although the same can also be applied to any spirit that you summon, whether that spirit is of a Christian nature or a pagan nature or whatever, celestial, infernal, you name it. You can summon pagan god, angel, demon, whatever. I'm going to give you guys basic tips and tricks to make the whole process of summoning spirits quicker. Or just overall magical practices to make the entire experience of practicing, or the entire just the entire experience of practicing, to make it quicker and to become more adept in a swift and agile way, and just to maintain and improve and progress as quickly as possible. The first thing that I'm going to mention is to, point one, do things in the correct hour, in the correct day, and on the correct hour. Okay, this is the best. There's a best time to do everything, as the saying goes, and it also applies to magic. In short, there's a difference between the human created or human based time system or time frame. Basically, the way that we tell time is different than the way that time really exists as an occult, or within the occult world, or from an occult perspective. Okay, the simple example is that for us, generally speaking, within modern society, a new day starts at after midnight. But in reality, that's not the case. Occult reality, that is. In reality, it's the same as occult perspective. Okay. In reality, so from an occult perspective, the first hour of the day, so a new day begins at sunrise. Okay, or around sunrise. It doesn't, regardless of where you are in the world. Simple example, in my location, sunrise is let's just say around 8 a.m. or something. Currently, the first hour of the day is somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m. That's the first hour of the day, the first occult hour of the first day. Okay, for today, for example, is Sunday, and the day started at approximately, I think, 7:30. Yeah, that's the first hour. That's when the first hour of this Sunday rule. So that's when the sun is at its strongest. Okay, today is Sunday, so the sun automatically rules this day, and the first hour of this first day was when the sun is at its strongest. As an example, okay, it's one of the hours where the sun was at its strongest. So the sun basically not only rules the day, but the sun also rules that hour. That's how occult time basically works. And for the rest, it will be significantly easier, especially for beginners, to do things on the correct day and in the correct hour. Okay, so for example, if you intend on summoning a solar spirit, today would be the best day, and doing it then when the sun is at its strongest is also going to help. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to summon a solar spirit, the ideal time would be today in an hour that the sun rules over. Okay, on every day from an occult perspective, okay, every planet or every classical planet, we're talking about the seven classical ones, so the sun, moon, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn, those all rule their respective hours in kind of like a cyclic fashion. Okay, in a repeating pattern like way. Simple example is, for example, today's Sunday, the first hour of the day, the sun rules the first hour of the day, so the sun is at its strongest. After the sun, for example, Mercury rules the second hour of the day, and then it just keeps going on. Venus rules the third hour, Jupiter rules the fourth, and so on. Okay, and it all just keeps repeating itself. Another simple example is, I'm referring to my location specifically. The sun rules the first hour of the day, and then every 7 hours afterwards it still rules, it's still at its strongest. So in my location, for example, the sun ruled between 7:30 and 8:30, and the next time that the sun will be at its strongest is between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. because we're approximately 7 hours further. So all the other remaining 6 planets have already passed their own rulership hour, and it just keeps going on. Okay, in the evening in my location between 9 and 10 approximately, the sun will also rule again. Okay, and the sun will be at its strongest then. And that's the best day. That's the best time, the absolute best time to do something. Yeah, that's the absolute best time to do something. Okay. Another simple example is you get the gist of it. Okay. The sun rules Sunday, the moon rules Monday, Mars rules Tuesday, Mercury rules Wednesday, Jupiter rules Thursday, Venus rules Friday, and Saturn rules Saturday. That is pretty much it. If you want to summon a Saturnian spirit, then you should have summoned that spirit yesterday, or you'll get another chance to summon that spirit coming Saturday. So next week Saturday, this coming Saturday. And again, the first hour of the day, regarding on where you are in the world, okay, whether you're in the US or in Belgium or in Russia, doesn't matter. Okay, there is, thank goodness, a handy application that one can use to calculate planetary hours. I'm going to link that in the description below, called Planetary Hours Calculator, and you guys can use that to calculate your hours. It's really easy. Okay, it's a no-brainer. All you have to do is fill in the date, the time, and your city and country. End of story. And you need to check the checkbox that you need to check the save checkbox, okay, so that it will automatically save your location, so that you don't have to constantly fill in everything all over again, as in your city and your country, every time you make use of said planetary hours calculator. And it's really easy, and it will show you exactly what day it is. For example, today is Monday. It will automatically show you a nice graph, or in a column-like fashion. As in, today is Monday, ruler of the day is the moon, ruler of the hour is the sun, for example. So that way you can know exactly when the moon will be at its strongest, okay? It would, in all fairness, it would already be enough to just do things on Monday. If you intend on summoning a lunar spirit like Fasago, for example, on Monday, or Paimon on Monday. Paimon is also lunar. It would already be enough, but again, I'm a perfectionist, and this really helps, okay? It's all about the little things like these. When you combine all of them together, you can see how how they form a significant help, or a significant stepping stone in order to reach your goal of summoning and performing a successful summoning. So yeah, it's basically all these tips and tricks that I'm sharing with you guys, okay? Doing one of these things won't make much of a difference, okay? But combine all of them together and you can see where I'm going with this. It's like one person giving you $1. $1 doesn't mean anything. But let 50 people give you $1 and you're $50 further, okay? That $50 goes a long way, so to speak. So you guys know what I mean exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much it regarding planetary hours. I have worked this way. I still even work with them up to this day. But to be honest, once you're adept like me, even if I say so myself, to say the least, then you'll see that stuff like this doesn't really matter anymore. But again, that's why I said these are tips and tricks for a beginner, or someone that just wants to improve on his basic way of working. For anybody that's not familiar with any of this stuff, with any of these tips and advices on how to improve your spirit summoning abilities as a magician or as an occultist as a whole. And this doesn't just account for these tips and tricks don't just account for spirit summoning. Any activity that you want to undertake, okay, occult activity or clairvoyant activity that is of such a nature, for example, astral traveling, and you want to astral travel to the sphere of the sun, for example, the magical Kabbalistic sphere of the sun called Tiferet, then yes, these rules also apply. It will be easier to do things when the sun is at its strongest, and you will be able to enjoy Tiferet, so the magical sphere of the sun, when the sun is at its strongest, okay, planetary hour-wise. So that is that. Again, check the link in the description below for all the other things that I'm going to mention too, so not just the planetary hours calculator. But in any case, now you guys know that's how okay, do things on the right day and in the right hour, when that planet that rules over that day is at its absolute strongest. Okay, so again, Sun Sunday, Moon Monday, Mars Tuesday, Mercury Wednesday, Jupiter Thursday, Venus Friday, and Saturn Saturday. That's point 1. Point 2, the use of Solomonic pentacles. Solomonic pentacles are a big help. Okay, again, you can read that article called The Order of the Pentacles. I am also going to link that in the description below, so that you guys can see what my experiences were when I first started implementing pentacles. But pentacles go a long way in helping. Okay, and the thing is too that they're ridiculously easy to make, so you don't have to worry about having to spend a lot of money on a pentacle or anything. Now, you can easily make these pentacles out of cardboard paper, the way that I did. And again, it will literally make no difference, so you don't have to worry about buying expensive jewelry and all of that stuff. You can find that stuff online. Okay, I've seen plenty of people making Solomonic pentacle pendants and all of that. You don't have to do any of that. You can easily just go to a store where they sell, an office store where they sell stationery, and you can just buy traditionally colored cardboard paper. For example, yellow for the sun, golden yellow for the sun, silver for the moon, black for Saturn, blue for Jupiter, green for Venus, red for Mars, and orange for Mercury. Yeah, orange for Mercury. Yeah, that's it. I didn't miss anything. I already showed you guys this in the video that I did on that Order of the Pentacles article. I also did a video that's embedded in the article, like all of my articles almost all of my articles, but I'm still going to show you guys pentacles again. Before I do, okay, I need to state that I primarily make use of all first pentacles. Okay, so I basically made a carbon copy of all first pentacles of every classical planet, of all the 7 planets. I do have other pentacles too, okay, relating specifically to some effects relating planets that is mentioned in the Order of the Pentacles in the Greater Key of Solomon. But again, one thing that I do have for sure, though, that's only in some that only accounts for some planets. Okay, that only accounts for some planets. In all other scenarios, you can just you can just rest assured that it's handy to have all things ready, to have to literally make one first pentacle of every planet that you need. I'm sorry, the guys that I'm working with are distracting me. They just want to be funny. Okay, my vice patron is just distracting me, hence me having difficulty just explaining myself. He's just bothering me. That's okay. In any case, yeah. So you need to have a first pentacle of every classical planet. So of every planet. Okay, all 7 planets, one first pentacle. That first pentacle greatly helps the ease. Okay, greatly helps the level of ease at which one can summon any planetary spirit, or which is practically every spirit. Okay, so if you want to summon a lunar spirit, the first pentacle of the moon will definitely contribute to making the whole process of summoning and connecting with that lunar entity easier. And remember what I just said before in the planetary hours section, that part of the video regarding planetary hours, that it doesn't just account for spirits, it also accounts for every activity that you do. If you want to astral travel to the moon, using that pentacle will also help. Okay, having that pentacle near you or near the altar or anywhere near you when you intend on astral traveling will also help significantly. Or using that pentacle to astral travel altogether as a doorway. This is just an example. So yeah, if you're going to summon a Martian spirit, the first pentacle of Mars will also help. Okay, let alone if you work with the Martian spirit by default, the way that I do. My patron, my beloved Lord Samael, is Martian, so by default I have at the very least that first pentacle of Mars on his altar. I've had it on there for years, okay, since the beginning, since I've worked with him, and it just keeps going on. Okay, just for the record, I also want to state that my beloved vice patron, the Archangel Sandalphon, my Vice Lord Sandalphon, he obviously falls outside the scope of those 7 planets, so there's no specific pentacle that I can assign to him, but nevertheless he still has a Venusian pentacle on his altar that he himself asked for, and it does its job just marvelously well. I was hesitant and reluctant to put it on his altar because I saw negative drawbacks and so on in my divinatory readings, but he told me, don't worry about the drawback, I'll take that into my own, for my own account, or into my own consideration, just put it on my altar. And again, my faith in him has been rewarded by great results. In any case, I'm going to give you guys some examples. This is the first pentacle of Mars. Take note of how I made it. Easy. Let me also, let's see, what else? This is the first pentacle of Venus, as you can see here. First pentacle of Saturn. Oh yeah, a tip for you guys: if you guys intend on making that first pentacle of Saturn and drawing those symbols on it, those Hebrew letters primarily that you'll be drawing, and other symbols, you guys can just use pencil. Okay, it's hard on camera, I think, to see exactly what the drawings are. Okay, it's hard. You're going to have difficulty if this cardboard piece of paper is already going to be black. Then it's going to be difficult drawing on it. That's why the only thing I found that I could draw on it, that I could use to the point where my drawings on it would still be visible, those Hebrew letters and everything that make up the pentacle, obviously. Then I said the only thing that I was able to find was a pencil. So that pencil will do the trick. This is the first one. This is the first pentacle of Mercury. Again, as you can see, you don't have to worry about how skilled you are at drawing things. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. Okay, that first pentacle of Mercury has a pentagram drawn in the middle of it, but as you can see, my pentagram is a bit crooked. But not that matters. Your intent is most important. That's what you need to keep in mind. I was never good at drawings ever since I was a child, so I'm not going to lie to you about that. But again, it doesn't matter, okay? Your intent is most important. And yeah, those are pretty much the examples that I can show you guys. All the other pentacles that I have are already on spirit altars, or on the altars of spirits that I already work with or engage in. Let me put this away. So, yeah, that's what you guys need to keep in mind. Okay. So, in short, that's point 2. Use pentacles. Okay. Use first pentacles for occult activities. Aside from what I was just mentioned in my first point, which is to make use of planetary hours. And the calculator that I'm going to link. Okay, point 2 is use pentacles, specifically for the first pentacles of the first pentacle of whatever spirit that you intend on summoning. So the first pentacle of either the sun, if it's a solar spirit, or a solar sphere, or occult-based activity you're going to perform or commit to, or whatever. Okay, so that's point 2, use pentacles. Let's see, point 3 is, these are basic things, absolute basic things. The use of oil. Oil is definitely handy. I'm also going to link a shop where you can buy oil in the description below. The shop that I use is Anubian. I just love that vendor's oils. Their oils are high quality. You can request custom orders for anything, not just for planets, for specific spirits and so on, and it just keeps going on. In any case, these oils really do the trick, okay? They also help things significantly. Spirits that I've worked with in the past have also, even spirits that I'm working with now, have also tell me sometimes to just dab a little bit of the oil on their shields that is on their altars. which just makes sense, of course. In any case, yeah, these oils will definitely do the trick. Before you engage in your ritual or before you do whatever it is that you're going to do relating to the occult, just take a little bit of that oil and rub it over your body, specifically your arms, your face, and so on. This is what I'm going to show you guys. This is an example. This is Saturnian oil. Yeah, here you go. So you can see it's written on it, Anubian. This is their logo of Anubis, hence the name Anubian, and the logo of Saturn obviously on it. And it just keeps going on. I have an entire list of these. I have an entire bag of these. Okay. The other, I have a lot more oils, but the rest is on the altars of the spirits that I work with. All the other existing projects that I have going. This, for example, is solar oil. As you can see here, the symbol of the sun on it. And it just goes on, okay? They sell traditional planetary oil magic, planetary magic oil. So the sun, Jupiter, whatever, okay? Even if you want something custom made, then they can also help you with that. So if you want a specific oil relating to a spirit, okay, my Vice Lord Sandalphon has his own custom oil bottle, his own custom oil. My Lord Samael had two, but I simply opted for the Martian one. That Martian one is right here. I have 4 oil vials on his altar. And see, this one says Samael oil, and it's incredibly dark. As you can tell, it's almost like there's blood in it. That's just obviously his nature. And this is the Martian one. Yeah. The Martian one is still completely full, as you can see here, and it's a bit more reddish, and it says Mars X. It's simply Martian oil. So that is it. Thing is, use oil. That's point 3, and point 4. I think that's going to be the last point. Is to also make use of incense. The problem nowadays is that a lot of people have difficulty finding incense. I also remember back in the day, way back. I also fumbled around a bit with incense, okay? Incense was really good quality incense, was really good to come by. That is practical for you, so that can be used practically. The problem is that that those Indian incense sticks that you can buy, those cheap Indian incense sticks are just that, they're low quality. So they only burn for like what, maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and again, even everything down to the smell is it just reeks of cheapness and of a lack. It just reeks of cheapness and a lack of quality. And the problem with resin incense or powder incense is that it burns out way too quick, okay? And it's just impractical for usage. I remember I had everything: an incense burner, brass incense burners, expensive incense burners, and I'm sorry, I was just checking the camera on my phone. I had brass incense burners. I don't have those anymore, otherwise I would show you guys, but let's see, do I have those? No, I don't have those anymore. Yeah. I had brass incense burners and everything, and I even had charcoal briquettes that I imported, everything, high quality stuff. And even then, okay, to light that charcoal briquette, I burned my fingers a couple of times trying to light it. It's so impractical to light up. And even then, you have to wait like what, half an hour for it to completely ignite and burn, to the point where you can sprinkle powder or resin incense on it. And I did that. And even if you did something like that, okay, the resin incense would literally just burn out in under a minute. It's very impractical, and especially during ritual when you've got other things to do and you're busy with other things, and the extra smoke also makes things impractical. So I found an excellent solution. I use incense sticks, but only the highest quality incense sticks. These are cheap, and at the same time they're ridiculously effective. They burn up to an hour, I think, yeah. And smell is top notch. Okay, you can clearly smell that, hey, it is that scent, and it does develop a lot of smoke, but smoke to the point where it's almost invisible. So not visible smoke that will burn your eyes and throat and so on. No, unless you're in a closed room, okay, I do warn you, unless you're in a closed room, okay, that is at least 25 meters, 25 square meters, then yeah, okay, if you've got sensitive eyes and a sensitive throat and nose and so on, then you're going to get bothered. So it's best to open up a window maybe or something like that. But in any case, you can use these incense sticks. They're called Aroma Harmony. The manufacturer is called Aroma Harmony, and they offer everything. As you can see here, dragon's blood is on my Lord's altar. Dragon's blood corresponds to Mars, and it can also be used for practically every. It can be used for every planetary alignment. Dragon's blood overall is a potency increasing incense. It increases the effectiveness of your working, regardless of what the nature of your working is planetary wise. But here it comes. The default incense scents for the 7 planets are for the sun, frankincense, for the moon, jasmine, for Mercury, lemongrass, for Jupiter it is what's it called again? For Saturn it is patchouli. So it doesn't matter what kind of patchouli you want to buy. Again, for the sun, frankincense, for the moon, jasmine, for Saturn, patchouli, and I'm sorry, I'm messing myself up here. Okay, I'm getting confused. Frankincense for the sun, okay, jasmine for the moon, patchouli for Saturn, rose incense for Venus, dragon's blood for Mars, or peppermint, but peppermint is more vanilla-like. Peppermint is kind of like the nice side of Mars. Dragon's blood, I still recommend going with dragon's blood. And lemongrass for Mercury, and Jupiter, what did you, cedarwood for Jupiter, that was it, yeah. So that's pretty much it, just like I said. Okay, frankincense for the sun, jasmine for the moon, cedarwood for Jupiter, patchouli for Saturn, dragon's blood for Mars, rose incense for Venus, and lemongrass for Mercury. There you guys have it, the incense based correspondences, planetary correspondences. Yeah, and that is pretty much it. So these are basic things that you can use that literally do not cost, they barely cost you anything. These bags of incense have 100 incense sticks in them. I burn 2 for each session. More than 2 is definite overkill, and 1 is not enough. So I suggest using them in pairs every time you host a ritual. So 2 sticks per ritual. And yeah, they only cost $13 on Amazon. I'm going to link that in the description below too. To just any scent, okay, and you guys have a drop down bar on Amazon.com where you guys can select your scent, your incense scent. And yeah, they cost $13, $12.95 I think for 1 bag. And if you order them in bulk, you'll automatically get a discount. So that is pretty much it. Okay, these are things that will definitely improve your workings, your ritual workings as a whole. Aside from the basic things, things like offerings and candles. Even candles, okay, it also goes a long way to use appropriately colored candles, but I already showed you guys that in the past, but even then I'll show you guys again here. As I make use of 100candles.com, this is the thingy that they ship it in. Where is the... hold on for a second. What the hell's going on? In any case, yeah, 100candles.com is the website that you can use. I'm also going to link that below for you guys, where you can buy colored candles. These are taper candles that where you can specifically buy colored candles. So again, it also helps if you use the correctly colored candle. Okay. Again, all of this helps in a minor way, but put all of this stuff together, put all of these improvements together, and you can see how much of a difference it makes. Again, like I said, if you're an adept like me, then stuff like this doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter when you want to do a ritual or what you want to use. It really does not matter. At that time, you're adept enough to the point where you know that intent is the most important thing. but I still like sticking to traditional stuff. It just makes it just maximizes performance overall. These are my Lord's candles. I have them, as you can see, red candles, beautiful red candles, 100candles.com. I just had them, and green candles for my Vice Lord. I just had them, I had them imported. I think I picked them up like a week or so ago. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There is nothing else that I can tell you guys that will make an improvement. These are just basic things that you need to add in order to make your rituals better, performance wise and obviously result wise. Okay, so we're going to go through all the points again. Point 1, make use of planetary hours. Point 2, make use of pentacles, specifically the first pentacle of the planet whose nature you will be using. Point 3 is oils, make use of corresponding planetary oils. And point 4, make use of planetary corresponding incense. Okay, that is pretty much it. That is literally, these are literally things that you can do to improve your rituals overall. You will notice improvement, believe me. If you, especially in the long term, if you work with a spirit, you'll notice that you're able to communicate with said spirit better, that results will be better, and results will present themselves quicker, and results will be more effective, significantly more effective, and more severe in its degree. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing but benefits. There are little to no drawbacks, and all of this stuff combined rarely costs you anything. Okay, even those candles only cost like 40 cents or 50 cents, $50 for one candle. So if you want to buy them in bulk, just buy 100 candles, and it's like what, only $50 or something. You don't even have to buy that much. Okay, I only buy 24 or 25, kind of like 2 to 3 dozen. And even those last ages, since I host ritual once a week. Oh yeah, and last but not least, I'm also going to mention something. It's not necessary to host ritual every day. That is clear overkill. The best way to host ritual is once a week. Okay, that's also in perfect alignment with the days of the week. Okay, for my Lord Samael, I host ritual every Tuesday. For my Vice Lord Sandalf on every Friday. It's not necessary to host ritual every day because it's impractical and you'll be spending way too much in terms of resources. And adversely, hosting ritual once every month is obviously a stretch. That's way too little. So once a week is a perfect balance, okay? Every Friday, every Thursday, every Saturday, whatever. And you can also apply all the tips and apply all the advice points that I mentioned. And let's see, is there anything else that I was going to mention? Oh right, yeah, there's an exceptional case. I'm just going to list an exception for Belial, for example. Belial, for example, like the Goetia already states, Belial is a heavy hitter. So that means that for Belial, you'll have to make grand offerings. What I did then for Belial, instead of hosting ritual once every week, I hosted ritual once every 2 weeks. Belial's right here. Yeah, in any case, that's the thing with Belial, okay? As the Goetia himself states, this great king Belial must have great offerings made unto him, and so on. And you guys can read the article on Belial if you're really that interested in Belial. In any case, point is that Belial requires a lot of offerings, okay? Just offering a home-cooked meal to him like you do with other spirits is not sufficient, not for Belial. That's just the way Belial works, okay? So what I do, obviously because once a week is going to be too much or too resource consuming, what I did is I hosted ritual for Belial, like I said, every 2 weeks. Since Belial is mercurial in nature, but traditionally speaking, he's a Gemini spirit. But I still use solar correspondences because the sun also rules Gemini as an element. So again, after engaging with Belial, the sun was the better choice, despite the fact that when I first summoned him, it was Mercury. I used mercurial correspondences, and funny thing is too that Belial presented himself differently. So again, you can use both, the sun and Mercury. Belial doesn't mind, but my point simply is, obviously this post is not about Belial. I'm just listing Belial as an example, offering wise or ritual wise. For spirits like Belial that require or demand even a whole heap of offerings, Paimon is also one of them. For spirits like these, instead of making rituals, if you work with by default with these kinds of spirits, then instead of just making offerings once a week, then the best thing to do is make offerings every other week, so twice a month. For example, Belial, it's the same way that I use solar correspondences. Belial is a solar spirit. Okay, every other Sunday, so 2 Sundays a month. Okay, and what I simply did, it was like a party, you know. I went to the store and I bought a whole bunch of things for Belial. Let's just say if you were to host a party for 3 or 4 people, that would be acceptable. Literally just bought a bunch of stuff, you name it, cookies, beer, soda pop, everything. So in any case, it's almost like you're hosting a mini party when you're making offerings to spirits like that, offering them a lot of stuff, okay, not just one home cooked meal the same way that you would eat. Let's just say 4 times the amount that you would eat and 4 times the amount that you would drink and consume overall as an individual. So again, it's like you're hosting a ritual for these spirits. It's like hosting a mini party for 3 or 4 people. So that's what it looks like. And obviously, if you're going to do that every week, then you're going to get in financial trouble because you're going to have to spend way too much money. Okay? So again, the perfect balance is to simply do things every other week. So twice a month instead of 4 times a month, as is the case with other regular spirits. So yeah, that's the last thing that I wanted to mention. Spirits like Belial are simply an exceptional situation. Paimon too, okay? But yeah, Paimon too. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.